This evening I'm going to be flying across the Tasman between Auckland and the Queensland capital of Brisbane. This won't be any regular flight across the ditch however, as I take one of the most peculiar and perhaps most premium economy class experience one can enjoy when travelling between New Zealand and Australia. With the joys of a small handful of Fifth Freedom flights operating across the Tasman, this means you're not limited to the usual and very routine flights operated by Qantas, Jetstar, Virgin Australia and Air New Zealand, which are more often than not on ageing and unremarkable narrow-body aircraft, and we are onboard experience that's not too different from the usual domestic flights. Tonight I'm going to show you quite possibly what is the best Trans-Tasman economy class experience that you might have never heard of, that delivers serious bang for buck on the only Airbus A350 Trans-Tasman service operating today with China Airlines on their almost daily Auckland to Taipei via Brisbane flight. So without further ado, come join me this evening as I experience a superb experience on the highly rated China Airlines, enjoying an elevated long-haul flying experience on a relatively short trip across the ditch tonight. Good afternoon, kia ora, and welcome to Auckland International Airport here in beautiful, as always, Aotearoa, New Zealand. We've had an amazing but fleeting little visit here to New Zealand. We arrived in most unusual circumstances, flying in from Norfolk Island of all places and on Air Chatham's of all airlines on Thursday night. Spent just 4 nights in New Zealand. We've gone up to the Bay of Islands, exploring that beautiful part of the Northland of New Zealand. We've even gone up to Cape Rhino, which is the far northern tip of New Zealand. So plenty of epic content from the Northland of New Zealand to come up on the channel indeed. Anyway, back to today's flight review. It's going to be an incredibly interesting experience tonight. This evening we're flying Trans-Tasman. We're flying back across the ditch to good old Brisbane to be proper. Brisbane is the capital of the Australian state of Queensland, third largest city in the whole of Australia. We're not flying any usual Trans-Tasman flight, however. When you think of flights between Australia and New Zealand, you typically think Qantas, Virgin, Jetstar, or of course Air New Zealand, but we're flying none of those airlines today. We're actually flying on one of the small handful of Fifth Freedom flights that operate between New Zealand and Australia. Anyway, we're flying China Airlines tonight on their Airbus A350 service over to Brisbane. I believe it's a once daily service between New Zealand via Brisbane that continues on to Taipei. We're just doing the Trans-Tasman part of the hop, but yeah, I was really impressed when I flew EVA Air last year between Bangkok and Taipei, so very keen to try the other major Taiwanese carrier. I booked this ticket last minute. It was only 274 New Zealand dollars, about 250 Australian I think, and for a 5-star airline, a full service airline, that's a real bargain on this route in my opinion. So without further ado, let's now head into the Auckland International Airport. We're here quite early. Hopefully we can check in now. Before we head into airport terminal, just a little bit of route information about our Trans-Tasman flight with China Airlines this evening. So it's a great circle distance of approximately 2,300 kilometres. That will take us straight out over the Tasman Sea in a northwesterly direction over to Brisbane today. Gazetted flight time is 3 hours and 35 minutes, although we're going to cover it in shy under 3 hours this evening. For your information, once this flight arrives in Brisbane, a couple of hours later, we'll then continue on to Taipei in Taiwan. It's about a 9-hour flight from there. All up for passengers doing the whole journey from here in Auckland, it's going to be about a 14-hour journey from there. Interestingly enough, my journey to Brisbane today didn't actually start from here in Auckland. Actually started up in the Bay of Islands in the beautiful town of Paihia. That's located approximately 230 kilometres to the north of here. So that actually meant I had to get an intercity bus down to Auckland. So I've come straight from the Bay of Islands. Funnily enough, today the bus journey component of the trip is probably going to take longer than the flight to Brisbane itself. Also means I'm at the airport around about 4.5 hours prior to departure. So I'm not too confident check-in's actually going to be open at this time. But let's go to the check-in now and see for ourselves. For your information, here at Auckland International Airport, check-in and bag drop is located at Counter E for China Airlines. So this means it's at the far end of the terminal, and as we pass the much busier check-in areas for the airlines such as Air New Zealand and Qantas, won't go over the full statistics for Auckland Airport again, as I've covered it in many other flight reviews out of Auckland. In a nutshell, the latest statistics in 2024 put Auckland Airport serving around about just shy of 18 million yearly passenger movements. Still very much clearly is the main international gateway to New Zealand. And just like that, looking very quiet at the China Airlines check-in area. There's a few people around there, but they're actually checking in for a Latam Airlines flight. So I think any hope of checking in 4.5 hours prior and making an early start up at the lounge is very much all but dashed. Alrighty, just headed into the terminal. Fortunately, it does appear that check-in's not open to 3 hours before, so we've got about an hour and a half to kill now before I can officially check in. Luckily, upstairs in the departure area, there's a small food court before you go through customs. It's got KFC, it's got McDonald's, there's also a bar or a restaurant, something like that over there, and a souvenir shop. So plenty of stuff to do to kill the time here. They've even got luggage storage facilities as well, so that's really good. Planning to go to the Strata Lounge with priority pass, so I won't bother going to the food court. So yeah, I think we'll just chill for the next hour and a half or so. Maybe I'll get ahead with my filming some of the elements for this review, and yeah, we'll check in at 5:50. So yeah, now it's approaching just over 3 hours prior to departure, so let's go downstairs and give check-in another go. Check-in for China Airlines here. Auckland has elements of both new and old. There does appear to be a few kiosks to check in, but for all intents and purposes, you will need to visit a manual counter to check off your bags. I started queuing about 15 minutes prior to departure, so I was one of the first few in line, and yeah, it was a very easy, smooth and friendly check-in and bag drop experience with China Airlines today. Just flying back to Australia meant there was no extra visa or other formalities to go through. And just like that, fast forward about an hour and a half, we've now officially checked in and bang on the 3 hour check-in window as soon as the counter opened. Very fast, friendly and efficient check-in today with China Airlines. We've now headed up to the escalators to the International Departure Concourse. So without further ado, let's now go through customs, immigration and security and head across the ditch to Brisbane tonight. I think it's going to be a very interesting flight indeed. And just like that, we're through immigration and security here at Auckland Airport. Super easy process this evening. Immigration only took about 30 seconds with e-gates for Australian citizens, all very easy. They also appear to have the CT scanners as well. Security was pretty easy, although interestingly enough, I still had to take my laptop out. But yeah, only took a few moments nonetheless. Nothing else had to come out of the bag, so that was really good. Conveniently, as soon as you go through immigration and security, you'll then walk through the central duty-free area, and then straight after that, you've got the lounges for Emirates, Qantas, and also the public Auckland Airport-owned Strata Lounge. We're going to visit the latter this evening, courtesy of Priority Pass and Dragon Pass. I can enter under either scheme. Visited this lounge a couple of years back when flying Air New Zealand from Auckland up to Noumea. Thought it was a really solid lounge. So without further ado, let's head in the lounge now and see if it's still a really good experience like it was a couple of years back. So once you take the escalators up to this lounge precinct here, you'll notice it's not just the Strata Lounge that's located up here. You also got the Emirates Lounge and also the Qantas Business Lounge. But we won't be visiting either of those lounges today. We're going to be visiting the Strata Lounge courtesy of my Priority Pass membership. Strata Lounge is Auckland Airport's own public general purpose sort of a lounge here. It's available to a wide range of membership programs such as Priority Pass, Lounge Key and Dragon Pass. It's also the lounge of choice for most full service airlines operating out of Auckland that don't have their own lounges. So indeed, if you were to be flying on China Airlines in a business class through to Brisbane or onwards to Taipei today, you would be beginning your journey also at the Strata Lounge. Being a public lounge, you're also free to enter this lounge on a pay-per-use basis. If you book online 24 hours prior, it will cost you 66 New Zealand dollars for a maximum 4-hour stay. For a maximum 8-hour stay will cost you 95 New Zealand dollars. If you book right on the day at the entrance, it will cost you a little bit more. In terms of food available, it's a self-service buffet here at the Strata Lounge. I think they do a pretty good job in general. Good range of both hot and cold food options available. There's also pastries and desserts. In terms of more substantial options, there's a good range of both Western and international style dishes available. All self-service, but yes, certainly some substantial stuff there to tie me over until my flight later tonight. In terms of drinks, there's a reasonably well-stocked self-service bar fridge. Has a good range of local and international beers and ciders, good range of Kiwi wines, and some pretty stock standard shelf spirits as well. In terms of non-alcoholic options, there's soda machines and also self-service coffee machines. So everything you need for a quick couple-hour visit to this lounge. There's also a good range of amenities in this lounge, including free fast Wi-Fi and business facilities. In terms of seating, good range of varied seating, catering to both work and leisure. In terms of views, there's no direct views of the tarmac. You're more looking down on the passenger concourse down below, but you can see some aircraft action beyond that. Anyway, it appears my flight is shortly going to begin boarding, and it's a fairly lengthy walk to the gate, so unfortunately my time in the lounge now comes to an end. And just like that, our China Airlines flight is almost ready to board. Looks like could possibly be going a little bit early tonight. But yeah, that was a great 2 hours or so at the Strata Lounge this afternoon and evening. Really good food, really good drink. Very, very comfortable lounge overall, good service. What more could you want from a lounge? Definitely recommend this one as a Priority Pass, Lounge Key, Dragon Pass Lounge, whatever will get you in the door. Anyway, it looks like we're departing from gate 15 tonight. Says it's about a 15-minute walk. I can literally see my China Airlines flight from here, so I'm not sure it's quite that lengthy a walk, but we better head to the gate now. And once we're at the gate, we'll have a look at the aircraft information for tonight. And just like that, after only about 5 minutes of walking from the gate, certainly not 15 minutes, here's our China Airlines A350 over there. Incredibly excited for tonight's flight. So without further ado, let's head a little bit closer to the gate now, check out tonight's aircraft, and come join me as we fly to Brisbane tonight. And just like that, here's our ride taking us over to Brisbane, Queensland this evening, and ultimately the one that will be continuing on to Taipei, Taiwan later tonight. It's a 7.5-year-old Airbus A350-900 aircraft. Really beautiful liveried aircraft. This one was delivered direct to China Airlines back in September 2016. Puts this aircraft at 7.5 years of age when taking this flight. Also, the registration on this one is B18901. Adjacent to our China Airlines Airbus A350, we also got an Air China Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, which is flying direct to Beijing this evening. Must admit, definitely made a few bloopers trying to film this flight review, getting the two airlines mixed up. So yeah, definitely plenty of footage that didn't make the cut when editing this review. Anyway, boarding is called on time from gate 15. Looks like it's going to be a moderate passenger load looking at the crowd today, so not too busy, not too quiet, all very professional and orderly, the boarding process indeed. So welcome aboard our China Airlines Airbus A350-900 aircraft. So 3 main classes of travel on this aircraft. At the pointy end you got business class, which is outlaid in a 1-to-1 configuration. A little bit further up we've got premium economy, that's outlaid in a 2-3-2 configuration. And at the back of the bus, over 35 rows, you've got economy class, which is predominantly but not always in a 3-3-3 configuration. Out here in the back of the bus, seat pitch is pretty good for economy. It's advertised as 32 inches with a width of 18. But whether I like it or not, I'm seated in an extra comfort seat today, row 61A. One slight annoying thing about this flight, being under 48 hours prior to departure when I booked it, wouldn't actually let me select for and pay for a seat at time of booking. Didn't really think much of it at the time, said you had to do it at time of check-in. Thought I'd just get a window seat then, pay for whatever it costs then, but would only allow me to pay and select an exit row or extra legroom seat. These cost 90 New Zealand dollars, so pretty steep, a lot more than I was expecting to pay just to secure a window seat. On the flip side, I've got no one sitting next to me, so the whole row to myself, and with no bulkhead in front, I've literally got meters of legroom in front of me. Definitely the most spacious economy class seat I've ever sat in.
Auckland via Brisbane to Taipei. The flight time from Auckland to Brisbane is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
At my seat, I do find 11.6 inch touchscreen personal entertainment system. However, being in an exit row seat and without a bulkhead or seat in front of me, this one pops out of the armrest beside me. In-flight literature such as a safety briefing card is contained in a little pocket on the side of the aircraft fuselage. Up to give me a briefing on how to deploy the exit row doors in the unlikely event of an emergency. Friendly cabin crew shows me how to unfold out the IFE screen, which must be rolled out for the purpose of the in-flight safety briefing, which I thought was a really cool video, very innovative and very informative in the way that it does the safety briefing. So top marks to China Airlines on this. Now as we're pushing back from gate 15 here, what better time to just sit back, relax and enjoy parts of our taxi out to the runway today and our beautiful takeoff out of Auckland this evening. Once in the air, I'll then give my full rundown on everything that you can expect about the China Airlines Airbus A350 service across the Tasman.
即将准备起飞，请确实系好您的安全带。Dear passengers, we are ready for takeoff. Please make sure that your seatbelt is clearly fastened.
floor on this flight to Brisbane. And according to the weather forecast, we will be encountering moderate to severe turbulence during the climb for about 15 minutes. So please be seated.
Now that we're well and truly on our way to our cruising altitude of 40,000 feet, let's have a look in more details about the seat features of our X-row seats on China Airlines this evening. So as I alluded to before, the legroom is ridiculously great when seating in row 60 on the A350. Basically meters of legroom. You do have the crew jump seats facing you opposite, so yeah, that gives you slightly less space during takeoff and landing. Could be a little bit awkward if you don't like directly facing the cabin crew. Also, you do have where I am in 61A, the fuselage does come in a little bit, so yeah, that does impede on your space a little bit, but when there's no one sitting next to me, I've virtually got meters of legroom this evening. Unfortunately, the centre armrest can't be collapsed as it contains my IFE screen and pop-out tray table. First order of business for tonight's flight is to use that tray table to fill in the same old incoming passenger card that Australia's had forever and a day now. The quarantine questions are very important that you take seriously to protect Australia's beautiful natural environment. All those other questions asking an Australian citizen really is very superfluous when most of that stuff's already on your passport and the government knows everything about you anyway. When it comes to entertainment on China Airlines Airbus A350-900 aircraft, as I alluded to before, you get a reasonably big 11.6 inch personal touchscreen entertainment system. It's a pretty decent one, this one, reasonably responsive. You also got a manual remote as well in your armrest beside you. In terms of content, it's a reasonably good range of movies, TV shows, children's content. There's also music and games as well as a Voyager in-flight movie map. So yeah, all in all, not a bad range of content on China Airlines. Definitely being on airlines with a better range of content such as Emirates or Singapore Airlines, but it's more than adequate nonetheless and more than enough, especially for a short flight across the Tasman. If you're flying China Airlines more often, however, especially on the longer routes, you may find the options more limited. With dinner service shortly about to get underway, let's take the time to quickly stretch our legs and check out the economy class lavatory here on China Airlines. I must report it's kept in immaculately clean conditions as you would expect for the start of this flight. Really modern, clean looking lavatory here, got everything you need, very well maintained indeed. Now that I'm back at my very spacious C61 Alpha, let's get right into tonight's dinner options on board China Airlines. So you do get several options for economy class dinner. Tonight I go for the good old fashioned chicken with rice option. That also comes with vegetables as well. Now a little small fruit bowl and also a chocolate as well. The meal probably didn't win any awards for presentation, but I must say it was a very tasty meal this evening on China Airlines. Really appreciate getting a proper international style airline meal on a short hop across the Tasman. In addition to your meal, there's a wide range of complimentary soft drinks, teas, coffees and alcoholic beverages including beers, wine and spirits. I go for the local Taiwan beer, always very good drop in my opinion. Now let's check out the seats, recline and adjustable headrest, only for a few seconds and only for the purpose of this flight review. Must say the recline's pretty decent and the adjustable headrest is very much appreciated. But yeah, overall about this flight, I've really enjoyed it this evening with China Airlines. Definitely think the A350 experience is really a step above your usual Big Four airlines flying across the Tasman. Definitely a little bit elevated in-flight dining experience. Definitely probably better entertainment as well. And yeah, definitely a better, more modern aircraft with the A350 as well. So I see nothing but positives in the overall flying China Airlines. Aside from that, the second part of the flight is really about just relaxing, watching a few documentaries on the really good IFE screen, enjoying that almost unlimited legroom I've got, and yeah, even enjoying a much appreciated cup of coffee as we approach Brisbane, as it's been a very, very long travel day where I started up in the Bay of Islands this morning.
Please return to your seat and make sure that your seatbelt is fastened. And now the weather in Brisbane is partly cloudy with light rain. Ground temperature is at around 25 degrees Celsius, which is 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
And just like that, we now commence our descent into Brisbane, Queensland. Once on the ground, I'll offer my overall assessment and thoughts on today's China Airlines Airbus A350 service, why I really think China Airlines is a really strong alternative to try when flying Trans-Tasman between Australia and New Zealand. But for now, what better time now just to sit back, relax and enjoy our landing into Brisbane. Kept the landing quite short on this occasion as there was a huge amount of moisture and humidity outside, so it made it quite hard to see out the window. But yeah, enjoy what I did take of it on this very warm, steamy Queensland summer evening.
Welcome to Brisbane. Transit passengers to Taipei, may we have your attention? For security reasons, please take all your carry-on baggage with you and proceed to the Transit Lounge. Our next departure time will be 10 minutes to 11. We are going to change crew here. It has been our pleasure to serve you today. On behalf of the entire crew, may we wish you a pleasant onward journey.
And just like that, as we finally disembark our China Airlines A350 here in Brisbane this evening, what more can I say overall about tonight's China Airlines experience? I thought it was really a superb experience overall. Whilst China Airlines might be a relatively small player in the Trans-Tasman travel market, as they only operate this sole Fifth Freedom flight between Auckland and Brisbane, I must say it has been a really refreshingly good change from the usual airlines flying on the route, that is Qantas, Jetstar, Air New Zealand and Virgin Australia. This is not necessarily to directly bag any of those four carriers, but I think it's just a reflection of how Trans-Tasman travel really is becoming more and more like domestic travel in my opinion. Yes, it's still international travel, but much of the onboard experience is becoming more and more similar to usual domestic flights in my opinion. So when I found the opportunity to fly China Airlines Trans-Tasman for just 274 New Zealand dollars, or around 250 Australian dollars, really jumped at the opportunity to try out a highly rated Asian airline for the first time. And for what I got, China Airlines really delivered in my opinion. I really got to enjoy an international standard of flight experience tonight, not just your usual very routine Trans-Tasman experience. Of course, it's only my personal opinion at the end of the day, but based on my other previous Trans-Tasman travel experiences, really thought China Airlines cut a class above the rest today over the other 4 usual carriers on the route. Everything about tonight's flight experience was really good entertainment, really good food and beverage options, really friendly crew and staff, and yeah, flying an Airbus A350 wide body across the Tasman sure beats flying on an aging narrow body any day of the week in my opinion. Do keep in mind, however, there's several other foreign full-service airlines flying Fifth Freedom across the Tasman. So got Emirates flying the big A380 between Sydney and Christchurch. So that certainly offers the most opulent way to fly across the Tasman, especially if you want to fly in the first class suites. Whilst I'm sure we'll all be on a Unity ticket that the latter offers the most luxurious way to travel Trans-Tasman, do let me know in the comments down below what airline you think offers the best overall economy class experience when flying across the ditch. And just like that, welcome to Brisbane, capital of Queensland, Australia. It's an absolute sauna here at the moment, very hot, and the humidity is absolutely stifling. But yeah, going back to the flight with China Airlines tonight, it was an absolutely amazing way to cross the Tasman. I thought really enjoyed the A350 experience tonight. Really provided a next level experience over your usual Qantas, Virgin, even Jetstar or Air New Zealand services. Getting to fly a wide body across the ditch on an Asian, this Taiwanese carrier was a real privilege. Service was really good, really friendly cabin crew. The onboard food and beverage offerings were really good as well. And the in-flight entertainment was an amazing, really good screen, very interactive as well. So really hard to fault China Airlines tonight with their A350. So as we have flown across the ditch tonight, flying Trans-Tasman on this very special Fifth Freedom flight. Really hope you have enjoyed this flight review. I've certainly really enjoyed the experience. One of my best Trans-Tasman experiences yet. If you have enjoyed the review, really appreciate it. Do give it a like, leave your comments down below, and most importantly, if you have enjoyed this review or anything else that brings you to my channel, whatever it may be, really appreciate it if you do subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, don't forget to turn on the bell and notification button as well, so you won't miss any of it. If you have enjoyed my review tonight, you can also visit my dedicated AussieJetSetter Shorts channel and my Instagram page. Keep up where I am in the world in real time. You may also wish to check out my dedicated Discord server for fans and community of the channel. Also my website AussieJetSetter.com.au. Trying to kickstart that off again in 2024, so you'll be able to see written flight reviews, industry news, destination guides, frequent flyer hacks and more. But from here in a very sticky and humid Brisbane, Australia, thanks so much for watching tonight. Safe travels wherever that might take you.